Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Lowcountry Lowdown. Today we have a guest, Mr. Jordan Turok. He's a good buddy of mine going all the way back to high school. He is what I guess you would call a extraterrestrial hobbyist. I'm not totally sure exactly what you might call it, but he's really into space and stars and astrology and all that fun stuff. I hope I said that right. Astrology. It could be astronomy. I don't know. One of those two. But anyway, so we're going to be talking all sorts of different things, expounding a little bit on the coronal mass ejections, aka solar flares that we talked about a little bit before, and hopefully giving you some good advice to prepare yourself in the event that one of those were to strike the earth. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Please do not forget, if you like the show, make sure to subscribe. And if you happen to be buying or selling real estate, ctownsales.com for all your home buying needs. Enjoy the show. Jordan, part of the reason I wanted you on today is a couple weeks back, Rob, you remember we were talking about solar flares?
Yes.
So me and Jordan, like I said, we've known each other for a while, and I'm not sure exactly when this happened, but a while ago, Jordan started posting these pictures of stars on the internet, and then it became more and more consistent. And anyway, it seems like you're very well versed in that. So I was looking into a little bit of it. All of it went over my head. Apparently, it's not the solar flares, but it is the coronal mass ejections that cause the power outage and stuff. Jordan, can you expound on that for what that is to me?
So essentially, it's magnetic field ropes from the sun that have become unstable and cold.
Mm-hmm.
And the heliosphere, like on the surface, has two separate places. Beneath the surface, it's a little magnetic soup. And then on the top, it's hot and everything's getting expelled in these magnetic cages. When it becomes too unstable, it tries to stabilize, but sometimes that will result in a coronal mass ejection. It basically burps a ton of plasma at the Earth.
And just
launches
it.
Yeah, it can go anywhere from like 250 to like 3,000 kilometers a second.
That's ridiculous.
So anywhere from like half a day to 4 days to get to us.
And so that's just a result of the sun trying to like work itself out, basically, in like, layman's terms. Okay. So when this is there any sort of predictability behind this? Or is it just whenever the sun's feeling it?
So like they originate from sunspots most of the time.
Okay.
But there are other places they can come from, such as solar filaments, where it's just a loose rope of magnet, essentially.
Okay. And you said this is also like Aurora Borealis. That's also kind of sort of connected to that, or how so?
So when it burps the CME, we'll abbreviate coronal mass ejection. When it burps the CME out, it can have a magnetic orientation that's like embedded within the solar plasma field. So when it gets to us, if that's favorable, which would be in the southward direction, that's going to pull the aurora to more southern latitudes, and it's going to be stronger and more vibrant.
Okay.
The speed also would be very important, but the direction and the strength of the magnetic field is what's mainly driving it.
Gotcha. And so we were, it was like 18 something or other when the last major one like wiped out, blew up a bunch of telegrams and all that stuff. So obviously, different levels of severity with these teams in terms of its impact. So let's say we have a big one, coming to Earth. Do you know anything about, what impact that would have on us as a society? Go ahead and expound on that.
That would be doomsday.
Doomsday. Okay, great. Just the answer I was hoping for. So, okay. And that happened like what, 200 years ago? Something like that?
Yeah. I think you're referencing the Carrington event.
Yeah. That was
late 1800s, probably 65, 75. Yeah. But telegraphs were able to be operated without being plugged in because the current was so strong in the air.
Really?
And that would happen today. You can only extrapolate.
Right, yeah, that's everything. And that's what's kind of crazy to me when I was, my really light, basic surface level research on these was essentially you can't prevent them, you can't really predict them, and also it's going to be hella devastating. And that's just kind of an omnipresent thing. So how soon after, the sun burps do we know before, oh, this is on the way, it's going to hit us? Or is it just like, by the second you detect it, it's here?
It's almost immediate. It's an X-ray.
Okay, so it's just, there's no warning at all.
Well, so I think we're on two different things, but we know immediately after it happens what has happened, but how long it takes is tentative.
So like, okay, so from when we see it happen to when it wipes out the grid, how much time do we have? Like,
it would have to arrive first. It wouldn't be along with that X-ray.
Okay, so it would so you wouldn't have any warning essentially then.
Well, you would have 18 hours to 4 days of warning. I kind of get what we're saying here.
All right. Okay. 18 hours, 4 days. Sick. All right, that's good. It's enough time. And what I was looking at would probably wipe things out for like I don't know, like a couple months before. That's what some estimates I was saying it might take like, I don't know, anywhere from like 1 to 3 months to kind of get everything at least back to a barely functioning level, is what I've seen. I don't know if you looked into that at all.
One could only hope. I mean,
It's just crazy, man.
satellites falling out the sky, transformers blowing up.
Yeah.
That would happen.
R.I.P. Tesla.
Those
I
are
didn't think
driving.
about the satellites, man, like falling out the sky. Like,
Yeah.
imagine you're just like chilling and you see a satellite like fall next to you. There's a lot of satellites up there. I know that there's like a lot of debris and all that, like up in the atmosphere or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Space trash. Dude, a big day for 1980 Chevy Silverados on the road. Big day.
What?
They're
I'm
back.
telling they're like the only, there's like them old beat up ass trucks that ain't got computers in them.
All Toyotas are
Huge day
still
for
there.
those guys. Those guys are going to be kings, living
yeah.
large.
because nothing's analog anymore. Really, I could think of. Because I remember when like the world switched from analog to digital.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that or not. Like, so remember there was like the old TV channels, I think were analog, and then they cut off that like server or whatever it was, and then you couldn't like watch those anymore. But it was like, I think it was like 2007 or something. That was changed.
Yeah. Not to get like spiritual or anything, but it doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world for like God to put us in timeout for a minute as a society. Nothing like not an asteroid to kill us all. Nothing like that. Just a quick little, hey, y'all need to sit in timeout. Just here's 2 months, no electricity, and reflect on what you've done. Maybe you guys have done a little bit too much, screen time. Couple of too many iPad babies, and we all got to go look at trees for 2 months. But it would be, I think, pretty devastating. We were just talking to James, the other guy we were rambling about this about, and just like I get way too deep into this stuff. I think it's 3 days before like all the shelves are gone, empty, stuff like that. All the supermarkets, it's all gone. And so, if you don't have, cans of beans, you're going to be having a really bad 2 months, man. You know what I mean? Okay, being somebody who's really into that world and just looking out in all the crazy, vast mysteries of space, is that something that you think about at all, or is it just not even concern you in the slightest?
All the time, but I would hope that we would have a different avenue of timeout.
I feel that. So are you worried? You're not worried at all about CMAs, or are you?
I love when they happen because the auroras are beautiful and they're
So
cool
they're
to
mostly
see.
little ones, and they're not severe enough to like be an issue.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of thing that just happens like Saturday next week. I mean,
Gotcha. So CME's really common. Carrington event, fairly rare.
extremely rare.
Extremely rare. Okay, so the fact that it happened to happen just a couple hundred years ago, that's more like you wouldn't expect it within a few hundred years. That's more anomalous. Do they know the science? Do they know how far back the next most recent one of that severity might have been?
Yeah, they've done all kinds of like carbon dating with tree rings, and they call them Miyake events, but there have been several Carrington level events and even greater in the past.
Oof. But so if we didn't have all the tech we have today, would it even have any real effect on us if we had one of these major events like that?
Might get hot.
Might get a little warm. So like if the cavemen were doing their thing, is it just a little toasty?
Yeah.
And that's it?
They'd probably be like, cool. Like if
just
that
the
happened,
sky would
it'd
look
be in the
sick.
day.
Oh, really? Okay. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right. So what else? What kind of drove this fascination with space and it's astrology? Is that the right word? Or is it astronomy? Astronomy? Pastrami? Astronomy?
Pastrami. They are
Astronomy?
exclusive.
Salami? Yeah. What kind of drove your fascination with this? How'd you get into this? What made you, like, just get so deep into that world?
I mean, I'd looked through a telescope as a kid, and once I had adult money, I'm like, I want a telescope. So I went and bought one.
That's it. You just started looking.
Yeah, I started looking, and then I realized you can hook a camera up to it and take photos for 10, 20, 30 hours.
Sick.
Stitch them all together, and it's cool.
Yeah, no, it is cool. That is kind of a funny thing you say there, adult money. That's something you don't really realize is that, you can kind of just do whatever you want. I think a lot of people, they fall into this little mold of, you're going to go work 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And then on weekends, you're going to watch Love Island or, whatever it is you do. And, you can do all types of stuff, man. You can go out, you can look at stars, you can go get lost in the woods. You can go anytime you're not at work, you're pretty much free to do whatever the hell you want. And you don't really have to do that either. You can be unemployed if you really want to. I don't know if you should, but you can do whatever it is you want. That's pretty cool. What do you know about dark matter?
Just as much as everyone else. Nothing.
Okay. Glad you said that because, all right, here's my hot take. You let me know if you agree or disagree. Hot take. At least 75%, if not more, of information that is exceeding the level of what the average man or woman might know is kind of sort of made up. And when I say made up, I mean like more of a we think than a we know. Fair. Gotcha. Yeah, because, I hear about these things, and okay, correct me if I'm wrong. You know way more about this. Isn't our largest amount of evidence for dark matter based around kind of like how gravity interacts with it? So we sort of know it's there because something has to be pulling it. It has, other things react as though something of X amount of density is existing in this area. Is that basically it?
It's as simple as there's mass here that's unaccounted for.
So we
can't prove it.
We can't detect it in any way, shape, or form other than that something is orbiting in a way that implies that there's mass here. Is it not equally as possible that those things could just be, not listening to gravity?
I mean, they could be beyond gravity.
Right, yeah.
It could exist in a universe parallel to ours where gravity is just a constant and it's not a ruling force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I've always found it, like, it just seems like sometimes people take stuff and run with it. Like, okay, how this is a whole different field of, I guess, not quite theoretical, but a whole different field of science. But how back in the day when we grew up, Jurassic Park was all lizards and now they got feathers, which that's a little thing, but man, they were so confident they were lizards. You know what I mean? And now it just feels like they're so confident they have feathers. And I think it would be so refreshing to hear people say, I'm not totally sure about this, or I don't know. But it seems like the second you put on a lab coat, it's like, well, I know. Mm-hmm. I, the scientist, know what dark matter is. It's like, well, I don't think you do. Let's see, what other space topics did I have? This isn't space, but it feels like it should be. Do you know anything about CERN and the little protons or whatever they are, the atoms colliding?
Yeah, it's pretty cool what they're doing there.
So why are they doing that?
They're trying to figure out how to make advancements with fusion, like continuous fusion, so we can make energy off of, I don't know, essentially starting a gasoline engine, right? Like you turn it on and now it just consumes gas, but fusion's a little different. It doesn't take intake like mass to keep going, like such as the sun. It's just turning hydrogen into helium continuously.
Okay, so it's kind of like the best case ideal scenario is that we figure out a way to make perpetual renewable energy. Mm-hmm. That's best case scenario. And they reckon they could figure that out by smashing a particle real fast. Mm-hmm. How? So, okay, so that's kind of what I get definitely perpetual energy. Awesome. Where my lack of knowledge comes in is how we can deduce that by smashing a particle close to the speed of light. Like what are we looking to find there when we hit those against each other real quick? Like,
I could be wrong, but I think it's trying to replicate density. Like the faster you smack them into each other, the more it would be simulated to be that dense within like wherever it is residing.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, I had read something once on the internet, which God forbid, but I saw something once. I think it was saying they were looking for ways to sort of simulate the Big Bang. Is that also a thing they're trying to look at, or is that just completely some nonsense I read? It's very high probability.
High probability of either. I don't know.
Sick.
I couldn't say.
These are the scientific minds we need to have, is Mr. Jordan. We need more I don't knows in the scientific community.
I mean, this is like a different topic, but it's similar to space. I just had a thought. Jordan, what do you think of the movie Interstellar? Have you ever seen that?
Excellent movie.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause I know I can tell you like you really know what you're talking about. That's like one of my favorite movies, but I heard it's pretty accurate. I just didn't know from somebody that's like knows a lot, about space and everything.
There's parts of it that are not the most accurate, such as the time dilation and everything. Like they do a good job of it, but
You mean how it's like if you're on a really dense planet, time's different?
yeah.
That is the real thing, though, right? Mm-hmm. See, that's interesting, too. Because how does that work? I've got this idea. Let me bounce this off you. So here's my theory about time. I feel as though time is more of a perception mechanic, meaning that, we made up time as a way to rationalize our existence. But I view it more as like time is kind of like, you remember CDs, all right? Sort of like how a whole movie is on a CD. The beginning and the end of the movie and all parts in between are already on the CD. Now, when you watch the movie, you watch it in a linear fashion. And that's kind of how I view as like us perceiving time. But it's all already there. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I view as, view time. I don't think of it as like a universal, literal thing as much as it is a way for our monkey brains to kind of understand like what it is we're doing. We just have to like assign metrics and, kind of measure it in that way. But I don't know if it organically exists as like a, concrete type of thing. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another example of humans putting a number to a thing they don't completely understand.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if time is objective, then how could it be warped by, gravity itself? And so that is kind of, okay, is it the denser something is, the slower time moves, or vice versa?
It would be relative to the observer. So
Sure.
for you, it's moving exactly the same speed. But if you're falling into a black hole, your time is going to accelerate from the outside. But to you, it's just the same amount of time.
Okay. So
Isn't like
my bad. No, go ahead.
Isn't time like a dimension? I heard that was like, there's like we live everything we see is the 3-dimensional world. And then like I think it's like time and space is like the 4th dimension. So it's almost like we can't fully comprehend that. It's almost like something in the like lived in a 2D world could never fully understand our 3D world. They just because it's like a whole different plane of existence, if that makes sense. That's what I kind of heard, but of course I can't wrap my mind around it.
That was an excellent way to put it. Something from a 2D world can't understand something from a 3D world. So how are we supposed to understand something from a 4D world or 5? It could just keep going.
Right, yeah. Is there any comprehensive theory on how many dimensions may exist that you're aware of?
I don't think there's any limitation.
Okay. Just however many we come up with.
It's whether you can prove it or not. Kind of goes back to like, we need scientists to go like, that's not right.
Yeah.
We got to prove it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think a true scientist is very excited to learn that they're wrong. I think that's the most exciting thing in science because then there's more to discover. It's nothing more boring. It's like when you beat a video game, you know what I mean? When you just same old levels, it's just boring, you know what I mean? But it's fun the first time when it's challenging and you're figuring it out, right? So if you just were to know the answers to everything, what's the fun? You got to have more to discover. Let me ask you this. What's your opinion on Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Love him.
Love him. Really? I've got another hot take. I think he's very Bill Nye-y.
In what sense?
I know that he's qualified, but I feel as though sometimes he overrepresents the extent of his knowledge because he's kind of like, not the face, but a large part of the face of the scientific community. Because I'll hear him talking about all types of stuff, and I'm like, there's just no way you're an expert in that field too. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's pretty old, man.
He's not that old.
He could be talking out of his butt, though.
Well, I don't know. That's the funny thing is that I don't know anything about the fields either. So it's like I can't prove this wrong, but I just know that you're not right about this. But because wasn't he initially in like space? That was his thing. He's the space guy. But then I hear him talking about, I don't know, like for the example, the dinosaurs. He was going on about that. And I'm like, what do you know about dinosaurs? You know?
Well, I mean, every little boy liked dinosaurs.
Yeah, but like not to that level. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Bring back my lizards, man. I'm so pissed. They're freaking
Lizards with feathers.
Yeah, I mean, all right, it's fair middle ground, but I don't know. I was watching the I don't know if you saw, it was a new Netflix documentary on dinosaurs. They filmed it. Well, filmed it. It's all CGI, obviously. They didn't film the dinosaurs, but
props to the cameraman
because they weren't real. No,
dude.
but
He traveled to the fourth dimension and went back and like right before those
what can't Netflix
asteroids
do?
hit or whatever. Yeah,
but yeah, so they made this documentary, and I think it was Morgan Freeman or whoever who narrated it. But anyway, so. They were going on about Stegosaurus, which, if you haven't found out, they completely nerfed him. Have you seen the recent Stegosaurus?
No.
Oh my, hold on, I gotta pull this up. He looks like shit.
No,
Dude,
Stego got nerfed.
Dude, Stego got nerfed crazy. Rob, you seen this?
no, because I actually, honestly, it's kind of like weird, but I honestly really feel bad for the dinosaurs, like what happened to them. I think because it was just so, and that's the thing with us, like kind of what you're talking about, that solar flare, like it was so unexpected. You know what I mean? I don't know how dinosaurs thought. Maybe they just thought like a normal dog or something like that. But
oh wait, not Stegosaurus, Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus. Okay, yeah. Stegosaurus, I feel like was one of my favorite ones as a kid. That's like one of the first ones you learn, you know the name of or whatever. Spinosaurus, that's like kind of more like apex predator, isn't it?
Look at this fat dork.
Oh no. It's like a Leopleurodon.
He's Leo Pleroed up, dude. Like they Pleroed him, man. He's basically walrus coated. But yeah, no, man, I couldn't believe what they did to Spinosaurus. But anyway, that's one interpretation. But there's like a million different ideas for what he looked like, which brings me to my next point. Netflix was in this documentary that they had about the dinosaurs. You had Spinosaurus, and they're like, listen, he would go into the water and he would open his jaws and he would wait. And he was an ambush predator. He'd wait for them to go into his jaws, and then he would snap them. And I'm just like, you don't know that. Like, how do you know he was incredibly patient? What, did you ask? You know, like, did you meet him? Did he seem patient? Did he have a calm demeanor? What do you mean he's patient? I could tell by his bones that he was cool-tempered, actually. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, he ate a phone, and then, you know, Willem, whatever his name was, Jurassic Park 3. But I don't know. I was appalled by that stuff. It just seems like they're taking kind of leaps and bounds. And it's, you know, my view of it is through whatever biases I had when I was growing up, and, you know, dinos are cool. And there was that. And then I've got the, you know, friggin' super badass Spinosaurus view. And then they've got a more webbed, or not, like walrus. What do you call that? It's a fin, I guess you would call it. It's like a leg, but it's curved. What is that? Is that a fin?
I think it's a fin.
Leg? What would you call that? Flapper?
You call that a flap. I don't know, because yeah, it's mostly for the water, but you can walk on land with this. I don't know if that's a fin.
Little waddlers?
I don't know what that would be, yeah.
Little walrus waddlers. Anyway, they got those now. And, you know, I get it. He was in the water. That's cool. But, you know, there's just different ideas. But for me, I'm just like certain, like I know what a Spinosaurus looks like. And now some other, you know, bright-eyed little 10-year-old watching that is like, Spinosaurus, incredibly patient, water creature.
I think it's called forelimbs.
Forelimbs?
With a, yeah, like the front arms, basically, yeah.
The walruses have 3 limbs, though. But look. Anyway, but yeah, it's just funny how we have these different interpretations, and we all are so, you know, kind of confident in what this one thing looks like because we saw a documentary at one time. But I feel like there's just so much more unknowns. Speaking back to my boy George Washington, he apparently, I think he was around before they discovered the bones, right? Pretty sure I heard that. Or at least he was like born before they, or something around that lane. The documented discovery of dinosaur bones is very, very recent. So large swaths of humans went around. Go ahead.
So it was around the 1820s, I think.
1820s.
Yep.
1820s. Could you imagine in 1820? And a guy goes up and he goes, "Hey, listen, guess what I found?" And it's a Spinosaurus. You're going to hang that guy. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no way. That's just would have been the hardest sell ever, you know, but I guess now we found a whole bunch of them, so it's more convincing. But I don't know. They could have found them beforehand and just thought there was something else.
That's what I'm thinking is there's like cavemen running around like beating each other with dinosaur bones.
Yeah, like if you saw like a T-Rex femur, you're like giants, obviously.
Or you give it to your dog.
Give it to your dog, yeah. Big day for Fido.
Yeah, but even the whole thing of the dinosaurs, though, no one ever truly knows because maybe that thing is accurate. Because if you look at a skeleton of like a dog, you think this thing is going to be a lot skinnier or whatever it looks like, but then it's like a bull mastiff, like
for sure,
it's impossible to fully tell what it may have looked like. Maybe some of them probably may have had fur or.
Yeah. Well, that's why so much. I don't know. I'm more of a history guy than a science guy. Which history is also like if you really get into it. It's like 90% probably false. It's about 10% objective truths and then about 90% perspective. And then, usually turns out if you study history, the good guy actually always wins. Did you know that? A lot of people don't know this. Good guy always wins because they wrote it and they won. They were the good guys. So, but I feel like science is kind of a lot of that where it's probably like 10% definitely and then 90% probably. At least as far as, like ancient science goes. But I don't know. Let me ask you this, Jordan. You believe that crocodiles / alligators are dinosaurs?
No, but they had some that were very similar to those.
Oh, exactly. And there's no feathers. So
I think snakes are dinosaurs, dude.
Snakes are dinosaurs, you think? Mm-hmm. What's up with them weird little freaky things? Are they like isopods or horseshoe crabs? Is it the horseshoe crab that hasn't evolved in like 1 billion years, something like that?
The brown ones at the beach?
Guess. I don't know. I'd seen they hadn't evolved for a long time. Horseshoe crabs.
Horseshoe crabs. There's the other thing that, I don't know if you guys played Pokemon, but like, you have the horseshoe crab, which is like Kabuto. And then you have the other thing, which is like, I think Omanite. And those are like still around too. It's like this weird looking like, thing in a shell, then it has like little like whiskers sticking out of it. I don't know if you ever seen it's like a circular thing.
I don't
Jordan
know.
knows what I'm talking about.
I think he might know. I don't know.
It definitely looks ancient. It looks like very old.
There's some things you can look at them and you can tell for sure that's old. Yeah, like a horseshoe crab. That guy's, that's not new DLC. Going back into the new world, into space. Let me just go ahead and drop the question. What are your thoughts on aliens? If I say aliens, where does your mind go to? Do you have any theories? Do you have any ideas? What are your feelings, emotions, etc.? Nothing at all?
Oh, no, there's too much.
Too much.
Where are they at?
Where are they at? Where are they at? So, no aliens that we're aware of. That is the question. Where are they at? So much. You got a nice telescope. Other people, even nicer telescopes. Where are they at? What level of detail can we see a planet?
Pretty high detail if you have a big enough mirror.
For sure. So we know a lot about Mars. We've seen Mars pretty thoroughly. No aliens. What's, because there's kind of a lot of different theories out there. They have all these different little names. I don't remember what all their names are. I remember basically the concepts. So there's one that was like something like Quiet Forest or something like that. Something or rather. Basically, the idea goes, I think I'm probably misquoting this, but that once a species gets to the point of interplanetary travel, they get waxed by some other like dominant power that's just completely, making sure they stay dominant. So as soon as anybody makes enough noise in the interplanetary realm, the other one just goes, well, you're stepping a bit too far. And they just kind of wipe them out. The other one, I guess the easiest is to just say, somebody has to be first. So I guess it could be us, because we don't see them in enough detail to be certain of whether or not there's little, ants on other planets, right? Like we don't have that level of detail. There could be ants. We don't know.
No, and at the greater distances, you're looking back in time. So
right,
that's not
that's another crazy
anymore.
thing too. Yeah. So, if we haven't seen them, it could just be that, it's not as empty as we think. We just happen to be here first. So, they're a few million years behind us or whatever. So there's that. Do you have any theories?
Just hope that there's like aliens floating around in their spaceships and they haven't found us yet. And maybe that's a good thing.
Maybe so.
Maybe if they did find us, we get fried.
We could get fried.
I think another thing that's just weird to me is how big the whole, like what we can see, the observable universe is. Because, yeah, everything that we possibly know about all happened on planet Earth. But, like, you know, like, it's just weird how big the universe is. Like, not even just our solar system, but then past our own galaxy. And you've probably seen, like, the pictures where it's, like, way zoomed out. And there's probably, like, millions of galaxies, like the Milky Way or whatever.
How many galaxies are there, Jordan?
Trillions.
Trillions.
More than
That's
there is
insane.
sand on Earth.
That's crazy.
Those are galaxies, yeah.
That's too much space, man. That's too much. I've kind of my thought, my current prevailing theory, if it's not just, they're out there, they just, don't talk to the public, this, that, and the other, government stuff. But if they truly, no human has met them, my thought might be that, well, if they are advanced enough to, have interplanetary, intergalactic travel and this, that, and the other, they're pretty far forward technologically speaking. So my thought is they might have just, if we got good telescopes, we can't find them. I reckon they probably got pretty good ways of looking at stuff too. If they're in any way, shape, or form aware of the way we act, they might just kind of be waiting for us to grow up a little bit. Because if you look at any movie we've ever made, it's like aliens. All right. Step 2, we got to go to war with the aliens. And so I don't know if it's as much like they're going to wax us, which I feel like, to your point, could be a bad day for us when they show up. They might just, fumigate the planet. Second thing is we'd probably I kind of have a running joke. My few of my people is like, how long after we discover aliens before some rich dude wants to taste one? Feel like not far. And also, till someone else wants to do something else. And,
Day one.
That's what I'm saying, dude. And so I feel like they just know enough about, the human race where they're like, if we show up, some hillbilly's going to shoot me. And we will. You know what I mean? I think we'd have to be like, excuse Curtis. He, I know you don't know his property lines, but he's real particular about them. And you did land on his property. And so by, Florida state law, he can't shoot you. And anyway, so they might just be like keeping their distance until we get to the point where we might not attack them, which would be, obviously short-sighted. Like you don't attack the thing that, we can't even detect their civilization and they can travel to us from there. So, you got to reckon that we wax other human civilizations that are like 100 years behind. Mm-hmm. And that's got to be thousands of years. You know what I mean? So I don't think you pick a fight with them, but we would. So they might just be waiting for us to get to the point where, I don't know, we're not immediately going to try and kill them.
They could, or we could be looking at it the wrong way. I mean, they could be thousands of years behind us, and we're just not looking at our advancement the right way. Like, they're not going to find us. We got to find them, bro.
Well, that's kind of the trouble thinking about, like, if we are ahead, because if aliens would come and let's say they were like, hey, we're not going to kill all you guys. We're not going to wipe out the planet, but we are going to eat some of you. Because isn't that like, I recently got into hunting and like we have, there's game wardens, there's regulations. They're like, you can't kill all the deer. You can have 5 a year though. Mm-hmm. So aliens are like, listen, we can't, we have a conservation effort. You can't kill all the humans. You can abduct 5 a year though. And you got to have a tag and like, there's going to be poachers looking for the big ones, but like a trophy human, but
how do they measure them?
just mass. I gotta get like specially weighted tractor beam.
They're coming straight to America.
Oh, for sure, bro. But because if we went to, say, we got to Mars and just I don't know how we missed it, but there's all these. Turns out there's a bunch of cow-looking aliens. If they look like cows and they can't talk to us, we're gonna eat them. If they're cattle-like, because why shouldn't we? If we eat our cows, and it's like, well, it just happens to be a Martian cow, no big deal. And we would definitely eat those Martian cows, be a prime delicacy. And then as soon as the aliens come here, we'd be, hey, don't eat us. We're humans. We don't get eaten. And it's like, well, if they're more advanced to us, like I can't think of a logical argument why they shouldn't eat us is the problem. This is not going to...
Chandler, you want to eat some alien steak? Is that what this is about?
This is going to come back to me if I ever run for president. They're going to quote me saying, I can't think of a reason why they shouldn't eat us. But No, I mean, I just think we would. I just feel like we would. We've eaten everything on the planet. At some point, every animal has been tasted.
And that's kind of like one of the first things, you kind of like, because I think there's a thing like, if you just look at something, you know what it tastes like, because I think that's when you're a kid, that's like how you discover the world. So I guess that's how we would discover outside our world as well. I don't know.
I feel like aliens would be real shrimpy.
I don't know if they are real. It could just be like bacteria that could be aliens,
Shrimp are big bacteria, though.
What if they're shrimp in like super long trench coats?
They could be
That would be
shrimp.
really cool.
Hey, there's a solid argument that they could be octopi because those guys are. God didn't make that. 8 legs? It's ridiculous.
Platypus.
Platypi.
Brain in the
platypus.
legs too.
Brain in the legs. What are you doing? It's in each leg, for real?
Yeah, octopus
8 brains,
have a
8
brain
legs?
in all their legs.
That's too many brains. What happens if, like, okay, are they connected?
If one gets severed, it probably goes, ow, my brain.
Can it get, like, concussed if you, like, smack it?
I don't know.
If a octopus was in a boxing match, would it block with its head or its arms? Because if the brain is in the, you see what I'm saying?
The head seems too volatile. Like, you could get into some trouble if you're trying to attack with your head as an octopus.
For sure.
Like, you got 8 arms to defend yourself.
True, but you got brains and you get concussed. Another freaky thing about them octopode, they got beaks. What the hell is that thing?
To eat shellfish, I think.
Yeah, but why they look like that? I don't know. I'll tell you what, they're delicious too. That's the problem, man. I've eaten octopus. They're probably the smartest thing in the ocean. Eat them all the time. It's tricky. I feel like the barrier for what we like, the line that humanity has drawn for whether or not it's ethical to eat it is if it can ask us not to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think if anything, you were about to eat something and it specifically requested that you don't eat it, I think you wouldn't.
Well, I mean, that's not exactly true always, because even if you went hunting, deer's going to run from you. So honestly, I feel like subconsciously it's saying, I don't want to go.
Mixed signals needs to use its voice. I'm saying, like, specifically if it
needs
verbally
to be in your own language.
if it verbally communicated to you the words "don't eat me."
Well, that restricts it to humans.
Exactly. but I'm saying if an alien was able to, maybe he doesn't have the right vocal cords, but if it's smart enough for space travel, can figure out a pencil and could maybe write "don't eat me." And like, you remember those old TikToks, where they had the signs and they slowly drop one by one, If they did that, we probably wouldn't eat them. If a deer did that, I'd let it go.
I wouldn't. I'd read the whole story, though.
You read the whole, you'd have to see, yeah, I don't know. But at that point, you got to reckon it's not a deer, it's a skinwalker, because no deer can do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So obviously a paid actor.
Clearly. It's not even genuine. They don't even mean it. It's these Hollywood freaking sellouts with these papers trying to act like they care about the cause. And that's just as good venison as anything. But I don't know, man. I feel like there's definitely something out there, and I feel like we're going to have a really hard time explaining. I just feel like that debate is going to have that, or there. Here's a fun question. Who's working on photosynthesis?
Plants, dude.
I know, but why do we not have anyone on that?
What, trying to like
What?
do what with it?
We could photosynthesize.
How?
Exactly. Someone's got to get on that.
I mean, I guess you have a point. Our brain likes glucose, but like we don't have chlorophyll.
Right, but if we figured out a way, you can do all types of stuff scientifically. You're telling me nobody sees a plant and goes, we got to get what he's doing.
You don't think that works? You don't think walking outside and standing in the sun charges your energy a little bit?
Not if I'm kind of hungry.
Or in South Carolina.
But if I'm hungry, though, like, I mean, I get it's going to give me the vitamin D and it's going to give me, like, it's going to rejuvenate my soul and all that. But in terms of caloric expenditure, you know what I mean? I can't just sunbathe and get my grub on. It just seems as though if we could figure out a way to do that, that would solve a lot of problems.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to eat.
Think about it, yeah.
But then you also, I guess you could still eat though. Yeah, right.
You could eat if you just for the love of the game.
Just like as you like to eat, you know.
Yeah.
So I wonder, like, to the plants. I guess it must feel good. Like, you know, when we eat like a good meal, it just like tastes really good.
Yeah.
And like it fires off dopamine and everything. Like a plant in the sun on a nice sunny day. That thing's probably loving that.
I think they're feasting on the coronal mass injections. See, it's a buffet. I don't know how stars work, but yeah, man, it's a good day for them. I don't know. It just seems like aliens. I can't imagine an alien eating. Or like an obese alien, like a gluttonous alien. Just like a, you know, they're always very svelte, you know?
It's called like the gray aliens.
Yeah, the grays, big old heads. I've heard some people theorize that the grays are actually time travelers. What do you think about that? You think we can time travel? Do you think it could be created? Not that we can right now. Like I'm saying, do you think that that is a achievable technological advancement?
Hard to say, but I would like for it to be real.
Yeah. See, that's another thing that Neil was yapping about, and I'm like, bro, you don't know. But he was saying, he's like, yeah, well, you definitely could time travel, but you can't go back till before the time travel was invented. And the way he said it made a lot of sense. But he was like, you can only have a train where there's tracks. So what he was saying is that from the time we invent the time machine, we can go at any point between then and the future because it's got the pathway that's set up. But we can't go before the time machine was invented because the train tracks weren't laid back then. And he just said it with such confidence as though he knew how to time travel. And I'm like, yeah, I get like what you're saying makes sense logically. But that's my whole beef with him is if you have a smart enough guy say something that seems like it tracks logically,
Tracks.
nah. but then you're like, oh yeah, Neil does know about time travel. Like, nah. He might just be yapping. My favorite is, what's his name? He's the Japanese gentleman. He's not Japanese. But he's Japanese American. He went to Harvard at like 10.
Is he on the same show?
I think he's been a feature. He's not like a staple. His name, it starts with an M. I can't pronounce it. I don't even want to try because that definitely quick clipped. But it was something. What's it? You know the guy I'm talking about, Rob?
Trying to look it up.
Look up Japanese American astrophysicist, went to Harvard. He made like a nuclear reactor in his garage. And his mom found out and she was like upset with him.
Yeah, I have no idea how to say his name. Dr.
What are you
Michio Kaku, I think.
That's the boy, Michio Kaku. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, that guy. I like the way he talks. He's a really smart guy. He's real into, he's been yapping a bunch about quantum computing, which seems really interesting. It kind of, I guess the idea is quantum computing. A quantum computer can, compute at like 1 million times the strongest thing we got, which kind of begs the question, aren't data centers about to get like, really, if you can have a quantum computer that can do something at 1 million times, do you really need the giant, Walmart's worth of storage of the computers if you can just have one do way better?
How big do you think that computer is?
I don't know, but they'll shrink it pretty soon. Like the first, they always make things smaller, like the first computer that helped us go to the moon was the size of a room and it sucked. And then, now, I don't know, when did we go to the moon, allegedly? It was like 60s, something like that.
69.
So
67.
60, yeah,
one of the two.
67 sounds right. When was Kennedy killed? He started it, didn't finish it though. But anyway, it was in the 60s. So, within 120 years, I'm sorry, no, I'm not, 60 years, from then, doubled it up. Within about, 60 years, you've got, that same thing and you have an iPhone that's a fraction of the size and 1 billion times as powerful. So it'll probably be big, the first one. And then it'll get smaller and cheaper and et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. You believe in any of that? The people who say the moon landing was faked?
I can see where they're coming from, but I mean, it's obvious that they went to the moon.
It's a funny thing to fake, though, wouldn't it be? You know what I mean? To make that up. My only thing about it the only compelling thing I've ever seen that someone said was, Richard Nixon called him on a landline. And then I know he didn't literally call him on a landline, but he did pick up a phone from the office and talk. I don't know if that was something they recorded after the fact or not, but there is when he talks to the guy on the moon, he picks up the phone on his desk he's like, "Hello, it's Richard Nixon," and it's just a funny thing to think about, you know,
Did not
dialing the
know
moon.
that.
Yeah, the video of him. He talks to the guy on the moon, but he picks up a phone in his office, and it's got the little cord, you know,
Little rotary phone, probably.
Yeah, literally, yeah. And he's like, "Hello, the moon. Yeah, good job, guys." And yeah.
How'd they figure out how to make that connect to that?
Well, see, because
Also, wasn't the best person to be like representative of the honesty of the moon landing.
moon landing, yeah.
Richard Nixon, you know, like
Yeah. Do you think if Kennedy saw it through, we'd have as many people doubting it?
I feel there'd be less doubters actually if Kennedy was still there and it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Nixon, he's a funny guy, but yeah, just that image of him with a rotary phone, and I'm like, that's just crazy, man. Just wild. It did. That's another thing that does kind of confuse me is because didn't they? My thing is, I think there was maybe some deception in terms of like, I don't know if it was actually live, you know, that they might have done it like a week ago and then just told us we were watching it live, you know, because how are you live streaming from the moon in the 60s?
Satellites.
Getting the rocket there seems simple enough. I know it's literal rocket science, but you know, you just got to reckon, okay, it's going this fast and you're going that fast, just go that way. And then eventually you'll get there. And then you just get back. But I don't know. I can't, you know, hardly get signal in my house sometimes.
So do you think we landed on the moon?
I can't say that we didn't. I would like to think that we didn't because I think it would be a lot more fun if we lived in the world where the U.S. government has been covering that up since the 60s in a progressively more difficult fashion. Because if they did fake it, you got to reckon they're like, okay, it's the 60s. We control the media. We're just going to tell them. And then the internet comes along and they're like, shit, you know, and they're just constantly trying to cover their steps. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a much more entertaining reality to live in. But I cannot say definitively that the moon landing has not happened. But since it's mostly inconsequential, my opinion doesn't matter. Sometimes, for the love of the game, I like to argue that it didn't happen because it's fun. Shout out Bob.
Does Bob think the moon landing is real? Do you know?
Bob is an old friend of ours who will, if you're ever bored, he will aggressively defend the moon landing and get like mad about it.
Like that it did happen?
Yeah.
I would agree with Bob.
Yeah, I know. But if you're bored, you can be like, Bob, moon landing's a load of bullshit. And then you can fill a whole hour with that.
Oh, that'd be worth it.
It's a lot of fun, but I don't know. What do you think about these terraforming efforts on Mars?
That planet's long gone. Why are we trying to go there?
What do you mean by that? What do you mean it's long gone?
It's clearly had its entire atmosphere stripped in the past.
Could we put a new one on?
No.
Just fix it up, renovate it. Can we flip Mars?
What, like on Facebook Marketplace?
Yeah, I fix it up a little bit, sell it at a
New
profit.
HGTV show, yeah, flipping Mars or
Flipping
something.
Mars, why not?
Bro, get so many views.
I do think that we should eventually, at some point, we should look into becoming interplanetary just because we might get smacked by an asteroid at some point. Armageddon was a cool movie, but I don't think we can pull that off.
It's a good outlook.
Yeah, like I'm not saying we need to do it today, but at some point, you know, it might be good to diversify in case the planet gets wiped out. Or just, you know, eventually through the natural cycles of the Earth, you know, the climate's going to become, we're talking about millions of years in the future, but, you know, it'll get really, really hot or really, really cold at some point, isn't it? I don't know, you probably know more about this. At one point, wasn't the Earth like almost entirely water for like a bunch of years? Because, I don't know, it's like where there was no ice or something like that.
I think the water levels have been up to 125 feet higher. I could be wrong.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. It's not the whole thing, but like a lot more. You know
Our coastline used to be in Colombia.
Okay, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, you know, and that was before anybody, you know, made any emissions. So regardless of whatever, you know, anybody's opinions are, you know, some people think man's interfering with it. I'm not going to get into that debate because, you know, because I don't feel like politics. But, you know, regardless, the Earth does just do that sometimes. So, you know, at some point way in the future, it would be nice if, you know, could get really icy, could get really hot, could get an asteroid, could have a little pole shift, whatever, you know. Could stop spinning, you know. Might run out of energy. Might take a break.
That'd be bad.
That'd be such a bummer, dude. Yeah, it'd be a terrible thing. terrible thing. But I don't know. I think we should be interplanetary.
If the Earth stops spinning, what time of day would you want it to be?
Now, are we talking sudden stop or slow stop?
I mean, we're just saying it stopped. Like, what time of day is it when it stops?
Well, if it stops suddenly, it doesn't matter because we're all getting dead immediately. Now, if it, but if it's slowly decelerated, you know, I'd like to be in permanent sunrise. Although, what's the difference between sunrise and sunset if it's not? Well, because the sun still moves. What am I talking about? Yeah, like a nice evening and or morning. That would probably be as good as it can get. Otherwise, you're eventually going to freeze or burn. It's just nice right there in the middle.
You ever think about it that nighttime is the default of Earth? And then it's
That's
just only
crazy.
daytime when the sun's looking at us?
Damn, you're right. It is. Left to its own devices, Earth would be night. That's wild. Shout out the sun, man. Big fan. Big fan of the sun. But anyway, that's about we're about at the hour point. So I'll let you free and have to reserve some of my more abstract space questions for next time. But Jordan, I appreciate you taking the time to come on the pod today. It was a lot of fun. And folks, listen, don't worry about CMEs. It's not gonna be a problem. It's gonna be fine. And if I see one, I'll get Jordan on it. We'll all be safe. So he can handle it. Folks, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lowcountry Lowdown. We appreciate you. Like, subscribe, all that, whatever I'm supposed to tell you to do. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.